35 kilometers from Paris in the Chevreuse Valley, this castle plunges us into the history of France. Property of the Breteuil family since 1712, the visit puts on display 4 centuries of the extraordinary story of this family of aristocrats.
Hello, miss. Hello, young sir.
The visitors are greeted by the master of the house in person, HENRI-FRANCOIS de Breteuil, the 10th Marquis of the family.
I've always loved the castle. I used to go into bookstores and look at books on kings and queens, and whenever they mentioned Breteuil, I was delighted, and I gradually came to understand the importance of my ancestors. So this isn't a burden, it's pure pleasure.
Among Henri-François de Breteuil's ancestors are some illustrious figures who served the greatest monarchs.
The equivalent of today's interior minister.
Ministers, diplomats, and even famous scientists like Émilie de Châtelet, the first person to translate into French the works of Isaac Newton. Throughout the visit, people discover the history of the Breteuil family through imaginative reconstructions.
The castle is really brought to life, with stories, lots of photographs. It's really interesting compared to other castles I've visited.
The other special thing about this castle is that it celebrates the fairy tales of the poet Charles Perrault. This wasn't a haphazard choice, because Perrault, too, has a place in the Breteuil family history.
Louis de Breteuil had as his right-hand man Charles Perrault. Early in Perrault's career, he worked in Louis XIV's administration and was a lifelong protégé of Jean-Baptiste Colbert. After working in the finance ministry, he turned to culture and literature. But he didn't write the fairy tales that everyone knows and loves until late in his life, when he was 63 years old.
Donkey Skin, Bluebeard, Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood. Fairy tales that have lasted through the ages.
These fairy tales existed before Perrault, but we call them Perrault's fairy tales because he was the one who put them down on paper at the royal court and in the Paris salons. And they were published in French, which was very modern for the time, but country folk had been telling them for ages.
In the castle annexes, animated scenes bring the tales from our childhood to life. The director of the Sound and Light Show takes us backstage of his latest production, Bluebeard.
Bluebeard is a very rich lord, so I wanted something very baroque, with a large central composition. So we laid a big table fit for a banquet.
Creating this impressive set required 4 months of work and a budget of 50,000 euros.
The scene works on several levels. Firstly, aesthetic. But then you feel the emotions, the astonishment, the fear, mystery, anxiety. Plus, I hope it's a moment of escape for the visitors too.
Cinderella, Puss in Boots, or here, Donkey Skin. In all, 7 fairy tales are brought to life at the Château de Breteuil. But the show doesn't stop there. It continues on stage.
Knock, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Puss in Boots.
Today, Nathalie Almeida, the castle's storyteller, is bringing to life Puss in Boots.
In our story, he's the smartest, most intelligent cat ever.
This cunning cat manages to pass off his master, a humble miller, as an important member of the king's court. And, like with all of Perrault's tales, it ends with a moral.
And the moral is, don't judge a book by its cover. Thank you.
The morals are still very relevant today. We might not use the same terms, but the morals are the same. Don't judge a book by its cover. Love turns everything into beauty.
By opening its doors to the public in the 1960s, the Breteuil family saved its castle from ruin. A crucial choice which today's owner doesn't regret.
My passion is this castle. My lifetime's work has been to save the family castle.
Poetic, enchanting, and impressive for the illustrious figures who have inhabited it. Every year, the Château de Breteuil draws about 120,000 visitors.